Hello, my lovely, lovely islanders. It is Sydney Island here. That's Island with a Y, not an S. And I feel like the lighting is not too good because the sun is not out and it never seems to want to come out anymore since it's been winter. But I just want to come on here and talk about a recent life challenge that I experienced because YouTube is my way to vent. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a therapist. Like I say in a lot of my videos, since I don't have a therapist, I'm just going to vent. I don't really care who shows up in the live and who doesn't. I really just want to get this off my chest. So recently I was challenged. In a similar way, well, in the same exact way that I had been challenged in the past before, and I failed it. I failed the initial challenge, and the challenge was to stay true to myself, to see the signs, don't overlook the signs, and I saw the signs. I noticed it, but I kind of got caught up in a sort of a trap. So I'm not going to go into deep detail, but I am going to kind of brush over the story. Okay, so if y'all, you know, noticed, I on my community tab, I asked this question that said, "Do you think it's right for a man to say to a woman, 'Never tell a man no'?" I posted that because recently a guy that I was talking to, it was this man who was almost 40. I was like, let me just try the older men out here. So it was a dude that was like almost 40. And I was talking to him and I was just trying things out, you know what I'm saying? Trying something new. And I kind of feel like I went back on my needs. And that's why I say I failed this challenge of staying true to myself because I told myself I really didn't want to be in a relationship, that I didn't want to be involved with anybody. I needed time to myself because I had just been in a situationship with somebody else and it just didn't go the way that I wanted it to go. And it just kind of drained my energy. So I'm like, I'm done dealing with the same old repetitive nonsense with guys. So let me just take a break and be alone for a little while. So I went to be alone for a little while. And I was alone for about a month and a half, just single, doing what I needed to do as a single queen. And then I got on this dating app because I got lonely. I wouldn't say I got lonely, but I started to yearn for companionship. You know how it is. Y'all know how it is. It's natural, it's normal to be a human being and yearn for companionship. So I got on a dating app and um, it was like after a month and a half of being single and a dude messaged me, and I'm just gonna call him Cameron. And Cameron was this older black man. He was all right in his pictures. Like I thought he was kind of handsome. He wasn't really my type, but he was all right. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't ugly. He wasn't unattractive. But the thing that stood out to me was his maturity, the way that he messaged me. He seemed very mature. And I like that. I like a mature man. Like I'm a Taurus. We can be very old souls and like very mature for our age. And so he messaged me and I was like, okay, he seems mature. I'm going to give him a chance. He was like, I'm really interested in getting to know you. And I'm like, okay, cool. So then we started talking on the phone and chit chatting it up. And there was some red flags and I overlooked them. And one of the first red flags was we were on the first phone conversation and he wanted to talk about sex. And me being the reserved kind of person that I am, although I'm a sexual person, I have a sexuality just like every other human being on the planet, but I wasn't down for talking about sex on the first phone conversation. So I said to him, I was like, I don't want to talk about sex with you. This is the first phone conversation, like that's kind of awkward. And and then, dude was like hold on, y'all. And then dude was like pretty much judging me for not wanting to talk about sex on the first phone conversation. And the reason why I say I failed this challenge was because I actually let him make me feel bad for not wanting to talk about sex. He was pretty much saying I was immature and, I needed to talk about sex. Like, he was like, well, if you're going to be my woman, you need to be able to talk about sex with me. Grown people talk about sex and da da da. Pretty much saying that I was being childish for not wanting to talk about sex. And when I look back on it, I actually was being mature. It's very mature to want to get to know a person as an individual before you talk about sex with them, because I'm the type of person where I can't just have sex with somebody without knowing who they are as a person underneath their freaking flesh. And every time y'all see me try not to cuss, that means I'm getting mad. What's up, Juju? How you doing, boo boo? So, like, how dare you try to make me feel bad for not wanting to talk about sex? And this is the first phone conversation. I've never met you in person. Like, you're a complete stranger. So, that was a red flag right there. But me being me, I felt like, well, I've been single for so long. Like, I haven't actually been in, like, a real relationship and had an actual boyfriend in years. So, maybe I should just let this happen. Maybe he is somebody that I should be in a relationship with, because shortly after he messaged me and we exchanged numbers, I deleted I deleted my account on the dating app because I don't really like being on dating apps at all. So I deleted the account and I'm like, well, he's the only person that came. I deleted the account. He's the only person that came, so let me just give him a chance. You know what I'm saying? And so I gave him a chance. And that was the first red flag. He was like, "Oh, you're being immature. You need to be able to talk about sex, blah blah blah." Like, oh, da da. You're programmed, and that's that programming. And your mom programmed you to feel like you shouldn't be able to talk about sex, and she programmed you to feel bad about um, having sex. At a certain time. Like, he was pretty much saying you can have sex whenever you want, and it's true. As an adult, you can have sex whenever you want. And so I don't want to do that. So allow me as an adult to make the decision to not jump on that train. You know what I'm saying? And I told him, I said, well, this is my adult decision to not talk about that on the first phone conversation. And so I started like, and so he badgered me half to fucking death about, the whole sex thing. And he had other qualities that I liked, so that's why I put up with it, because he was mature, he was very intelligent, he had his own job, he was making good money, you know what I'm saying? He had his own place, like, he had things that I really liked, and so I wanted to continue to talk to him. I just was like, okay, well, he has these good traits, so let me overlook these other negative traits. It is what it is. Nobody's going to be perfect. And me, I'm very picky. So I felt like, let me stop being picky for once and give a person a chance. So I kind of was giving you the chance. And it's like, damn, like, as soon as I'm not picky, then I let some weirdo in. But anyways, I need to stay being picky. Moral of the story. But anyways, let me fast forward to the next phone conversation. He's like, we're going to talk about sex. He wanted to mention sex again. Mind you, that's not the only thing that we talked about. We talked about other stuff, a lot of other stuff aside from that. I wouldn't be sitting on the phone only talking about that with this dude. Like, we talked about other stuff, and then he got on the subject of sex. And same for the second conversation. And then I'm like, okay, well, we got the first phone conversation out of the way. I like this guy. Let me loosen up. And so I started talking about that. And that was the biggest mistake that I made in this situation. And that's why I say I failed, because, I told myself, I'm not going to do that. Like, that's just not what I want to do. I don't want to talk about sex with somebody that I don't know. I don't want to get into that energy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to move so fast, because in the past I've moved too fast with guys, been too sexual, too quick and stuff like that. And so I said, well, I'm not going to do that this time. And I didn't stay true to myself and, my morals and what I really wanted for myself. You know what I'm saying? And so, so when I say I failed oh, thank you, Juju. I appreciate that, and at this point, I know I did the right thing. I was just staying true to myself. Nobody should ever feel pressured. As a woman, that's a red flag. Like, he was a walking red flag. Like, he would say, oh, the man is the prize, and the woman's not the prize and stuff like that. And like, pretty much like, oh, you think that men are so much better than women. Why are you not dating a man? Like, is this is some undercover type shit. Like, you think that a man is so much better than a woman. Why are you not with a man? Why are you not sucking some wiener? You know what I'm saying? unless you are sucking some wiener, and this is your way of telling me that you're secretly sucking wiener, because hey, I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I failed it because I pretty much I didn't stay true to myself. Like I did, but I didn't. You know what I'm saying? And like just to allow somebody to come into my space and make me feel some type of way about being who I am, I learned that that's not right. I failed because I felt the guilt. You know what I'm saying? And I acted out on things that I didn't want to act out on. You know what I'm saying? And I gave him this image and this idea that we were going to be sexual, and I thought that that's what I wanted. And then it turns out I didn't. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's a huge lesson to me to know exactly what it is that you want before you dive into any type of relationship or friendship or business partnership or anything. Make sure that you know what you want before you dive in, because then you're going to confuse the other person. That person's going to confuse you. You're going to be confusing yourself. Like it's just going to be a whole disaster. And, you know, I learned from that. I learned from that. You know, I definitely did. And I know that I'm not the only person out here who's like, no, I'm not going to do this ever again. I'm not going to, no, no, no. I'm not going to do it ever again. And then next thing you know, you do it again. And you said you weren't going to do it for a reason. And that's the thing. The dude was pretty much trying to tell me to set my morals aside for him because he wanted to talk about sex. Like, I don't care if you don't want to talk about sex. That's just that programming. You're just brainwashed. Oh, you're just talking from trauma. You're damn right I'm speaking from trauma. And I put that there, that I put that boundary there as a result of trauma to protect myself. And then once I remove that barrier, I remove that boundary, then the protection is gone. He wouldn't see it that way because he was a misogynist and everything was about him. He wasn't thinking, she doesn't want to talk about sex. Maybe there's a reason for that. And maybe I should just respect that. But I made my own stupid mistakes in the situation. And I don't want to go into the whole thing because I'm not comfortable enough to talk about the whole thing. But I made my stupid mistakes in the situation. And one thing I learned is to know thyself. That's the root of it all. Aside from everything else, is to know thyself. Know what you want in a relationship. Know who you are and understand and know your needs. And don't disregard your needs and throw your needs out the window just because somebody doesn't want to compromise for you. If you have a certain need and a person is not trying to, you know, and we're talking about in a relationship sense, if you have a certain need and the person is pretty much ignoring that need, and they're like, "Ugh, why do you need that? Like, that's stupid. Like, I'm not going to do that for you." And it's clearly something that came from trauma. And you're like, I need for you to not talk about this particular thing because it triggers a trauma for me. Or I need for you to not do this because it triggers me and a trauma for me. Or I need you to not do this because it makes me feel uncomfortable. And they say, oh, you say, oh, F your discomfort. I want to talk about it, so we're going to talk about it. And he would say stuff like, we're going to have sex. When I said, I don't really want to have sex. And he's like, we're going to have sex. What kind of asshole are you? And I'm kicking myself, judging the hell out of myself for even allowing a person to talk to me like that and allowing a person to even be in my space who even thinks like that. And so that's when I have to look at myself and be like, haven't we been here before? Letting the wrong person in and letting them disrespect you when they don't deserve an ounce of your fucking time. Haven't we been here before? Don't you deserve better? And that's when I get upset with myself. And I don't like feeling bad about myself. I don't like being mad at myself. I don't like judging myself. But I was in a position where I felt like we can't let this continue. But also, I need to not be so hard on myself because these types of guys are everywhere, and it's not my fault that they're just out there. These types of guys exist. And he used the fact that I was like so much younger than him to can't pretty much get in my head. And it just reminded me of recently I made a story time about, the time that I was in the homeless shelter that really turned out to be a cult. I made a story time about that and I posted that a couple days ago. And the guy that ran the shelter, this guy that I recently had this situation with, who was an Aries, he reminded me of the guy that ran the shelter. Like he had those personality traits of like being super duper controlling. You know what I'm saying? And like I have a tendency to run into narcissistic males who are super duper controlling, and they come into your life and start making demands, and they're like, "Oh well, you gonna move out and you gonna live with me, and you gonna be doing this for me, and you gonna be cooking for me. You'll be cooking for me every night, and you need to suck my balls, and you need to do this and you need to do that." You know what I'm saying? And it's like they come in, they just all of a sudden they start telling me, "Change the way you dress. You need to stop dressing like that. Do da da da." And I know that it's because of me. It's because of the way that I have carried myself. Like I'm like I need help, or I'm weak, or I'm helpless, or I'm young and impressionable. And although I am young and I still have a lot to learn. And had I been older, I wouldn't have gotten into certain situations. And still, the fact of the matter is that the dude kept treating me like I was a baby, and he'd be like, "Oh, baby, blah 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 blah," and he didn't try to really get to know me enough to know that I had been through it with guys like him. So you can only mold me but so much, you know what I'm saying? Because I see through your bull crap, and I started to see him as very manipulative, which he didn't know that, but I started to see him as manipulative, because there's men that just do that, and my friend Jonathan was on the phone and he was telling me about, older guys that get on these apps and they try to find younger women who are impressionable, and they're looking for something, and they just want hope, and they just they want someone to save them, and they kind of take advantage of that. And so at the time it wasn't necessarily that I was looking for somebody to save me, but I was kind of in my mind thinking that I was doing something wrong, like I needed some type of change. And when he came in, he was like, "I'm going to do this for you, I'm going to do that for you, I'm going to pay your bills, I'm going to da 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 da." And he like bought me $100 earbuds or whatever, the Bluetooth thing, whatever fuck you call it. And like I'm thinking, okay, like maybe this guy could really help me to move forward. But I realized I don't need nobody to help me to move forward. Like I'm gonna move forward on my own. I have everything that I need. And it was just another one of those lessons of you have everything that you need within. And you don't need to get shit from a random nigga. Okay? You don't need no prize or some candy and treats and treasures from some rando dude off the street or some random dude you don't know. Like his word means nothing until he really starts to prove that with his actions. And so that's what I learned, you guys. See you next time. Just kidding. Just kidding. We're not done with the live. We're not done with the live. But yeah, this has been a definitely an educational time. And as much as you hate making certain mistakes, you also love that you're learning. You also love that finally you get it. Finally you understand, what the lesson was when you kept repeating that same bullcrap experience. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up, y'all. Give me some more thumbs up and share this live. Let them know. Let the folks out there know that Sydney Island is going live. She's talking about some real shit right now. So, yeah. And I'm never gonna. One thing that's really been a trigger, and it's a lesson and it's a trigger. Is it's getting warm. Is the whole teaching thing, like him coming by and I, after we decided we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna be a boyfriend and girlfriend because we were like kind of sort of boyfriend and girlfriend, and we decided we're not gonna do it because we weren't on the same page. We said sometimes the universe will put the same lesson in front of you just to see if you learned the lesson the last time. Exactly, Juju. Exactly. Y'all read what Juju just wrote. Exactly. Sometimes the universe will put the same lesson in front of you just to see if you learned the lesson the last time. And that's exactly what I noticed. And that's why I say I failed, because I did the same dumb ass shit that I did before. I repeated it. I told myself, no, we're not going to do this particular thing with the guy in this particular situation. And I went back on my word and I did it anyways. And then I realized, I'm like, oh my God. Like it really, like, I was kind of shocked because I'm like, oh my God. You ever just do something dumb and it's just so dumb to the point where you almost, you shocked with yourself? And you're just looking at yourself like, you do something real stupid. And then you kind of looking at yourself, like in reflection in a mirror, and looking at your stupid self, and you're just like, ah, I can't believe you just did that. I can't believe you did that same dumb ass shit again. And that was me. I did it again. I honestly was shocked at my own stupidity because I'm almost 27, and I've been making the same mistake over and over and over and over again for like the past fucking 5 years. And so for me, I was like, after all that you went through, after all the trauma and the discomfort that you went through that made you come up with, you said, yes, like I knew better. Exactly. Like, and the thing is, you be thinking you know better. You be thinking, I got this. I'm not going to ever do that again. And then something comes along. And the thing that really gets me though, I guess that's why they call it life challenges, because it's definitely a challenge. Because he came on some really convincing shit. Like he came coming like he really was about that life. Like he was about that. I'm gonna provide for you. I'm gonna be a real man for you. I'm gonna take you out of this 9 to 5 job. Like he really came with it. And I feel like it was just the universe's way of building him up to make him look like he was gonna do something, to kind of like test me, to be like, are you going to let these little things cause you to throw your morals and standards out the window? Yeah, he said that. He said he was going to do those things. But what did you say many, 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 many times over and over and over again to yourself? That you weren't going to do this particular thing, and you did it. That's why I failed it. And so now I know I passed the test. I failed it, but in the grand scheme of things, I passed it because I learned. And when you learn, you win. Okay? So I learned. I learned. I learned that there's nothing so great in the world that you should ignore your morals and your boundaries. Your boundaries are there for a reason. And if this person can't respect that one simple little boundary, they're not going to respect any of the other boundaries that you lay down in your life. And that's what I learned. If you can't respect me as me in this simple little request, then you definitely are not going to respect me when I say, hey, let's talk about business. If we move into an apartment together, you're not going to respect my space in that apartment. When I say I don't want to do something, you're going to try to make me do it anyways because you don't respect my boundaries. And so you're going to keep attracting people who don't respect your boundaries, and they just keep on moving into your space when you say back up because you don't respect your boundaries. And that's what I learned. I need to be like a freaking motivational speaker. Like, why am I still like sitting in this house, like on YouTube? Like, I need to be like on stage doing like a TED talk or something. Seriously. But that's what I learned. If you let people push up on you when you don't want them to push up on you, you are letting them walk over top of your boundaries. And your boundaries are very important because there are times when I ignored my boundaries to a point where it was like, it's okay for you to touch me inappropriately. I don't mean anything. I'm not worth anything. That's pretty much what you're saying when you let people overstep their boundaries. Thank you, Juju, for saying this is gold. Thank you. Gracias. Gracias. Yay. Round of applause. Thank you. um, yeah. And I looking back on it, sometimes you don't realize how much damage you're doing to yourself until you look back. Hello, is it Ariana? Ariana, the beautiful Aries Empress. Hello, how are you today? Give this video a thumbs up. But yeah, looking back on a lot of the mistakes that I made in my past, I realized that, I didn't know until I got older and looked back at it. I realized that I was pretty much sending a signal to guys that I wasn't worth anything. You know what I'm saying? And I really should make more videos talking about this because it's definitely something that's been coming up a lot in my life, as far as just self-worth and just doing better for myself, not just only in relationships, but in other aspects of my life, money, career, friendships, everything. It's good that you good, Ariana. I'm good. I'm good. I'm dealing with a little bit of vertigo. Um, I've been dealing with this for like too fucking long. Anybody have any suggestions on how to get rid of vertigo? I've been dealing with it for a hot minute, and I'm really tired of dealing with it. But I also have been experiencing some stress, which I need to stop being stressed. But PMS can make you overstressed. But anyways, yeah, I definitely have sent the signal that I didn't that I wasn't worth much, and that you can walk all over top of me and you can do whatever you want to me. It's okay. I don't mean anything. I don't matter, and that's bullshit. Being on the phone with that guy, um, Cameron. We're just gonna call him Cameron. I should have told him. I should have just been like, look. If you can't respect this one thing, then you don't have the right to even be on the phone with me right now. Enough for us to even meet in person. And I realize now that I'm hard on myself, like I'm really hard on myself. And I need to stop being so hard on myself. I really do need to stop being so hard on myself. And understand and know that you feel funny or you feel uncomfortable for a fucking reason. You don't feel uncomfortable for no reason. That's your intuition. And there are times when my intuition would speak to me and say, Sydney, this person is not a good person, or this is not the right environment for you, or you shouldn't be here. And I would just ignore it and be like, oh, you're being dramatic. Like, no, bitch, you're being intuitive. You're feeling things. God is speaking to you. And it's dangerous to hate yourself so much and to judge yourself so much that when your intuition is speaking to you, you even judge your intuition and say that it's something that is not. The Violet Fairy says, hey lady, you need to know that in life there is no such thing as right or wrong. If you learned a lesson, that is why it happened. Keep your chin up. You got this, girl. Thank you. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm learning, but I do struggle with understanding right and wrong. I do feel like it's all about you. I guess it's pretty much what you're saying is like right and wrong varies. Some people may think that something's right, some people may think that something's is wrong. My thing was I didn't want to seem problematic. In what way, Juju? In what way did you not want to seem problematic? Yeah, I think, and I can kind of understand not wanting to seem problematic because in a situation where I'm in a car with dude and I'm like, I really don't want to have sex with him because I had a moment of like, what the F am I doing? I'm not about to go into this hotel and have sex with this guy. Like, no way, I'm not going to do it. Like, it's just, I'm not ready for that. I don't know you. We're just now meeting for the first time. But I didn't want to be problematic. I didn't want to be like, I don't want to do this anymore. And he drove literally 2 hours from his city to come visit me because we thought we were going to be boyfriend and girlfriend and we were going to do this thing. Like I thought we had some type of chemistry and some type of connection. He kept saying, "Oh, Jesus sent me to you," and I started to really believe it. I didn't believe that Jesus necessarily sent me to him, but I started to believe that the universe sent him to me, and the universe sent him to me all right, but not for the reason that he was trying to act like that it was for. So yeah, it was a huge lesson. It's a huge lesson to just listen to my own voice. And every day I'm working on listening to my own voice and not letting people come by and say, Sid, you need to do this and you need to do that. Like nobody can tell you what you need to do more than you. Like you know what makes you happy more than anybody else ever could. I need to redo my twist, y'all. For real. Like it's getting real old. Or not redo, but just take it down. I don't know what to do. Just kidding. But yeah, I appreciate y'all input. Me talking about what had been, I can't get my words out. And Mercury ain't even in retrograde. What had been going on? I'm appreciative that y'all, put y'all input in because it really helps. And other people need to hear what y'all got to say too. Please value yourself, ladies. Your life depends on it. It truly does. And it may seem silly, but your life really does depend on it because there's situations where you're with somebody and you don't really know that person very well. And that person could be a predator. That person could be a murderer, could be a rapist, could be any type of nasty something. And you're busy trying to please them. Little do you know, you're trying to please the devil. Oh, because you're scared that they might judge you or you don't want to be problematic. And the next thing you know, because you're so focused on wanting to please them and not wanting to be problematic and wanting to be good enough for somebody, the next thing you know, they murdered you and you did. or they rape you, or they do something to you that you don't want them to do, all because you were too busy trying to be a people pleaser. So, not being a people pleaser, your life depends on it. And that's something that I've learned. Your life depends on it. Like, you need to put up boundaries. Your life depends on it. Stop trying to please people. It's irrelevant. Okay? It's very, very much irrelevant. People's opinions of you is so irrelevant that you have no idea. I was way younger, I guess, like a people pleaser, putting what others wanted before what I wanted. Girl, just when I just said something about people pleasing, and then made that post. Exactly. That's what I was doing. I was putting his needs before mine. He wanted to have sex. It was so important for him. And so I was like, well, I don't want to disappoint him. He drove 2 hours from his city to visit me. And then he had this issue with the cops. The cops pulled him over because he a black man in America and everything. And the cops pulled him over and whatever. And of course, he used that as an excuse. He was like, "Oh, I drove 2 hours away, and no, 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 no." And the cops had to pull me over. And it's like, it's not my fault the fucking cops pulled you over. Like, I didn't make the cops pull you over. You know how dudes like to do. And then when you just like flat out, or I didn't have sex with him, and then he didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? And guys don't like when you turn down sex. Like, they don't like that at all. And that's just too fucking bad. It's just too fucking bad. That's why God gave you hands. Okay? Put your hands on, you know what I'm saying? Use your freaking hands. Okay? Or go get you one of those fake vajudies. These they look like the woman's woman, they look like a real woman's part, but they're fake. Like, go buy you one of those. Okay? You good. You good. But don't try to make somebody compromise their morals just so you can get a quick fix. Cause that's fucked up. It's not right. It's wrong. There's nothing right about it. Okay? So I learned. And that's what makes me angry. Like, that's when the Aries Mars gonna come out. The Aries Mars gonna come out, and the crazy Taurus is gonna come out. Is when you try to make me feel bad for standing up for myself. But it's okay because the show's over. I'm not playing that role of the people pleaser anymore. I've done that my whole life, and it really didn't get me anywhere. It did not help me. You're trying to please people, and all it does is people, they prey on that. They use that to their advantage. They say, okay, here's a girl who really wants to please the life out of me. Like, here's a girl that just wants me to love her and wants me to be proud of her. How can I use that to my advantage? How can I use that to take advantage of her? When you want the wrong person to be proud of you, you're setting yourself up to be taken advantage of and to be used and abused. Don't do it. Your life depends on it. Seriously. Your life depends on it. Seriously. Like, I'm not just saying this. Because you can literally end up in a very negative situation because you're busy trying to please people. And I'm speaking from experience. It is not that serious. What people think about you is not that serious. Because these people that you care so much about what they're going to think, they probably won't be in your life 5 months from now. Shit, they probably won't even be in your life after tonight. You do what you do at that night with them. Next thing you know, you never talk to them again. What really did it matter what they thought if they're not even in your life anymore? And even if they stay in your life for 10 years, it's your life. And that's what I learned. That's what I learned. Stop trying to please people. That was really the root of it all, is that I was busy trying to please him when he was in that car talking about, because I told him, I said, I just don't want to do it. I know you used to hoes. That's what you like to do. You used to that. I said, I don't want to be a hoe. And he's like, what you mean? So you switching up on me? We're not gonna have sex. Da, 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 da. And he's like, pulled the car over, talking about we're going to have sex. I'm like, skirt. Yeah, you and your blow up doll, you are gonna have sex with. Yeah, you are. You and your blow up doll is gonna have sex. You're right. I'm glad you know. Bye. When a person don't respect your boundaries like that to me is like, what planet did you come from to sit up there and say to somebody, we're going to have sex? You know what that sounds like? That sounds like assault. It sounds like, if you say no, I'm going to do it to you anyway. That's what it sounds like. Don't ever let a man tell you we're going to do anything that you don't feel comfortable doing. What in the world? Anyways, That's what I learned. And I try not to say like I failed it, but I did. Juju said he was gross. He was. He was. But I was too busy being naive and being a people pleaser that I didn't allow myself to fully express how I really felt and to really be myself. I was nervous. And can you blame me? This man is like way bigger than me. Like, y'all, I'm a small person. Like, I'm on like 120 pounds. It varies from like 115 to 120. But I'm a small person, 5'5". This dude was like 6 feet tall, maybe even 6'2". Like he was really tall and like really thick, like really, really big dude. And he's like way older than me. So of course I'm gonna be a little nervous. I'm gonna be scared and I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, like what do I do? Like I'm scared. Like and it's just the two of us in his car. And I thought that I was gonna like try to do the boyfriend and girlfriend thing with him. I don't know. I was being too submissive and too passive in the situation because he was telling me a man needs to submit to. I mean, a woman needs to submit to a man, and in order to have a healthy relationship, in order to actually like get the right man, you need to submit. And I was like listening because I'm like, well, I heard another woman say the same thing. And maybe she was right. Like, you do need to submit to your man. So if your man says we're boyfriend and girlfriend, then I guess we're boyfriend and girlfriend. And which is stupid. It's a stupid way to see things. But I realized that I was very naive in my perspective on things because I had never experienced something like that. I'd never done anything with an older man before, you know? I guess the oldest was 35. To me, that's not that old, but he was a different breed. He was a different kind of dude. He wasn't like he wanted control. He was controlling, but he couldn't control me. And I think another red flag was that he kept on saying, I'm the alpha male, I'm an alpha male, I'm an alpha male. When a guy keeps repeating that he's an alpha male, he's not an alpha male. And yeah, maybe he's a big, buff, intimidating dude, and other guys may perceive him as the alpha male. But what does it matter if you don't know how to treat a woman? Can somebody please tell me? Does it matter? Because a beta male can be a better partner for a woman than an alpha male. Simply for the fact that he respects a woman. These alpha male types, a lot of times they end up being misogynist. A lot of times they end up secretly hating women. Not all alpha male, but what is the alpha male? Like, what even is that? Who cares? As a woman, I don't give a flying fuck about no alpha male, beta male bullshit. I don't care. That's you. That's something that a man cares about more than a woman. I don't care if you're an introvert or an extrovert. If you're the type to speak up more in an environment with other people or not, like that's just a personality trait, and it doesn't make you more or less a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I less of a woman if I'm introverted? Am I less of a woman if I'm loud? Like, that's just a personality trait. And I think it's stupid. And I think that a lot of people put themselves in a trap of feeling like that. I'm an alpha male, so I have to talk to women like this, and women have to respect me at all times, and they have to do everything I say. And it's weird. It like I've noticed that guys who consider themselves to be the alpha male and always are trying to be the alpha male, they're creeps. They're like creeps, like creepy weirdo type guys. It is creepy and weird to brag about being an alpha male to a woman. I don't care. I thought that alpha male thing was like something that you're supposed to do to like dominate or like be tougher than other guys or something. Like, what does it have to do with me? Like, I don't care. Other women may care, but I don't care. I'm an alpha male. I'm an alpha male. Listen to me, do as I say. Okay, great. You're an alpha male. Now get the fuck out my face. You can take your alpha male shit and have a party with yourself with all of that crap because I don't give a damn. I'm sorry, I get a little feisty when I start talking about some shit because I'm just like, what the hell that got to do with me? That's all he would do. Maybe it's because he was an Aries. That's all he would do is brag about himself. He said, "I'm 88% right. I'm always right. Oh, I'm always right. I told you I'm always right." Ooh, Lord help us all. Lord help us all. The world got problems. The world got some serious, serious problems. We need to fix the problems. And then you wonder, and then I know, I understand why women become lesbians. I'm understanding of why women become lesbians. I'm not against all men because I know all men are not like that. I have some good men in my life that don't act anything like that. So it's not all males. But after dealing with so many guys like that, you really do start to wonder maybe I should be with a woman because at least she would respect me as a woman and she would be understanding of my feelings and she wouldn't just like walk all over top of me. There's other red flags to the situation. I guess I could go into it, but I mean, I don't he is irrelevant. I blocked him. Okay? He is irrelevant. Okay? He wanted to continue a friendship with me. I turned him down and I blocked him. Okay? Because I wanted to prove him wrong. Because he always acted like everything he said was right. And he said, we're going to be friends for a long time. And then the next day I blocked him and I said, huh, for once, you're wrong. For once, you're wrong about something, Mr. Always Right. We're not going to be friends for a long time. We're only going to be friends for 2 weeks. Wow. That was kind of like that. That's an instance where he was wrong. I have no desire to continue a friendship with you. After the way you treated me, you must think I'm crazy. And that's when you know that you're not carrying yourself the right way in a situation for him to even think that you're going to excuse his shitty behavior and continue to be friends with him after that. After he kept trying to tell me what to do and control me, and hell no, hell no, mm-mm. I don't like to hang out with people like that. I don't want to feel like I don't have free will in a friendship. Sorry, that's not appealing to me. When we have conversations, we have conversations on the phone. Dude, pretty much I felt like I was being backed up into a corner when we was talking on the phone, and he got an attitude with me because I didn't want to tell him about something. He was like, "Oh, I had to leave my workspace in order to try to get you to tell me what you wanted to tell me," and then because I was about to say something. You know how you feel you about to say something to somebody, and then you like think about it for a second, and you change your mind, and you like, maybe I shouldn't say that. And it was kind of like one of those situations, and he didn't like that. He was like, "No, if you started to say something, you need to finish it. You need to tell me what it is." And I was like, "No, I don't really want to." He was like, "No, you need to tell me." I was like, "No, I don't really want to say it. You need to tell me. Tell me now. Oh, you being immature. I can't believe you being like this, like pretty much backing me up into a corner." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm in the comfort of my bedroom and I got to deal with this shit." And at this point, I started to get annoyed and irritated because I'm like, "Just let it go." And he wouldn't let it go. So I eventually had to tell him. And then he said, "See, was it that hard? You were being so immature just now," and blah, 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 blah. And like, he was my father. Like, damn, that's weird. I thought you wanted a girlfriend, not a daughter. I thought you wanted a girlfriend, not a child to raise. Weird. And if I don't want to fucking talk about something, I have every right to not want to talk about it. And then I said, I felt drained after that, like very, very, very drained. Because I'm like, damn, like I can't even just not talk about something. I gotta, and I just felt really, really uncomfortable because I just didn't feel comfortable talking about it or saying it. And then he had to get out. So I'm like, okay, let me just let this nigga have it. So I told him. And then I was like, after that, I was drained. And I said, okay, I think I'm gonna go now. He was like, no, you can't get off the phone. That's just an escape. And not thinking, why would a woman want to escape from a man unless he was being an asshole? The fact that he said you want to escape, what do you think that means? It means your personality is overbearing and annoying. You just gotta laugh. You just gotta laugh at the stupidity. Oh my god. It is funny to me. Like, it is comedy that you literally think that you are the second coming of Christ so much that you can't allow a woman to have a lick of freedom to do what she wants to do in the teeniest of an instance, like not having to say one thing to you. It's just ridiculous to me. But yeah, I kind of just went way off. But yeah, I just feel like I kind of wanted to get that off my chest because I go through a lot of weird shit and I don't really like talk about it that much. I'll talk about it a little bit with a friend. I'll talk about it a little bit with a sibling, but like sometimes you need to take some things to YouTube so people can be aware of what's going on around here. And I'm sure y'all know because y'all be teaching me. Like, I'm sure y'all know more than I do about some things. But yeah, comment, just comment in the chat what y'all feel about that situation, and what would y'all do? What would you do if you was in a situation like that? I know some of y'all probably like, I'll just hang up on him. But at the time I really was trying because I was so used to cutting guys off at the drop of a dime. I was so used to just putting my hand up and saying skirt, and just he would do one thing and I would block him. I was so used to just pushing guys to the side and being like, nope, 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 that I finally was just like, okay, Sid, let's just give him a chance. And I did, and I disappointed myself. So I blocked him. That's why I stayed on the phone, because I just wanted to give him a chance. I was like, okay, it's just one part of his personality. He got other cool stuff about him. Let's just stick with that, you know? I feel like I look weird. I got this slight eczema breakout on my eyes, so I look a little weird. I look like Hermit the Frog. This is Kermit the Frog. Just a little bit. But yeah, what would y'all do if y'all was in a situation like that? What would y'all do if y'all just met a man like this? Have y'all met men like this? Are you a man like this in the chat right now? Are you just like this dude? Can you relate to being a man like that? Let me know. But yeah, I guess I felt like I failed and when it comes to like the physical aspect of it, and just putting myself physically in a situation like that, I failed. But when it comes to learning what I needed to learn, I passed. I get it. You tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, I did. I overlooked so much of his misogyny. I overlooked so much of his controlling attitude, because I'm like, well, maybe this is just how a man is supposed to be, because I never had a father. Like I've said in other videos, I never had a father growing up. I don't really even know how a man is supposed to be in a marriage with a woman, because I never saw my father be a husband to my mother, because I haven't seen him since I was 3 years old. So I'm very much lacking in that department. So I have to learn all on my own. I didn't have any guide to tell me this is how a man is supposed to treat a woman ever. So I'm pretty much just winging it. And so I pretty much had to learn the hard way, because I never had parents who showed me. And my mom didn't sit down and say, Sid, don't be with a man who says these particular things to you. Like, it never was like that. So everything was just on a whim for me, which is dangerous. It's very dangerous. Could have died, but I'm still here. So yeah, that's my life experience dealing with niggas, dealing with dudes in America. Maybe I need to leave the country. Mm. I think I need to leave. Yeah, I think I need to leave the country. Marry a man from another country. I think that probably would work for me. I keep freaking stuttering. What's wrong with me today? But yeah, that would work for me. Yeah, marrying a man from another country, because maybe he would think differently. Like, his philosophies and his beliefs would be different, because he would come from a different region. You ever thought about that? Like, let's just get out of here. Let's just go to Italy and marry an Italian man, because I love Italy and Italian men are so beautiful. Yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna stop saying that I failed. Although I do feel like I did fail. I really do. Part of me feel I'm still kind of mad at myself for allowing this person into my space. But it's just kind of like, sometimes you just don't know. And you don't know until you finally know. You don't know until you make certain mistakes. So, yeah, lesson learned. Lesson learned. The whole moral of the story is stay true to yourself. That's the moral of the story. Stay true to yourself. Always. And like I said, your life depends on it. It may not seem like it, and it may seem like I'm being dramatic, but I'm speaking from experience. I could have been, raped or murdered, or something horrible could have happened to me, all because I was trying to please somebody else. And there were times when I was touched inappropriately, because I was too busy trying to please somebody, and I just wanted them to like value me. You know what I'm saying? Um Yeah, so your life really does depend on it. It really does, and it's not no joke. Like, don't only half believe in yourself and then half be like, "Oh, I'm nothing." Like, no, you need to believe in yourself all the whole way. Don't play the victim. Don't be like, "Oh, I'm so weak. I'm so insecure. Somebody's come and save me," because you're only making yourself easy prey for a predator. You're not a victim. You can change your life at any moment. Whatever you want, you can have. Manifestation is real. We all have the power to manifest whatever the fuck we want in life. So manifest. Manifest confidence if that's what you need. And that's something that I need to work on is manifesting. I feel like I do have confidence. And I have a lot more as I get older. I feel like with me, it is confidence, but it's really more so like I'm too passive sometimes because I'm always trying to consider the fact that, oh well, maybe this person is this and maybe they went through this, and I'm always trying to consider people's. I need to stop doing that. I really do. I need to stop doing that because it's really not working. Some people really do need for you to give them the cold shoulder. And when you're like a people pleaser, you realize that there are some people in life that you really can't get along with and that you can't be friends with. There's some people that you just got to push them to the side. You can't be kumbaya and holding hands and happy sunny days with everybody. It's just not going to happen. There's some people that literally energetically are not for you. And that's just the bottom line. So I learned. I learned a lot. So is there any questions that y'all have? I'll probably be on for maybe another 5 to 10 minutes. If y'all have any questions or anything that y'all want to say, any thoughts at all, just let me know in the chat and y'all chat amongst each other because it's a community. It's not just about me. It's about all of us. It's about us together. So I really appreciate y'all, by the way, just listening to me rant because I need it. I do. Because it makes me realize like sometimes I have these thoughts and then I'll talk about it with people and just having that feedback, it kind of makes me see things from a different perspective. And I need that. I do. I do. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ooh, thank you for listening to me. Thank you. I know I need to go ahead and get in the goddamn studio and stop tripping. Stop tripping. I know. I know. I know it. I know it. And you know I know it. But anyways, I think that's it. I'm just gonna wrap it up. Thank y'all for watching me. Give me some thumbs up and thank y'all for the 5 thumbs up that I got. Every little bit matters. I know my channel is really small, but it still means a lot to me. And it's gonna be bigger one day. So thank y'all for watching and y'all have a good day. Love yourself, love life. And before I leave, I want to say this. You are worth so much more than what you can even fathom. And if somebody is in your space trying to convince you that you were solely there to please them, they are wrong. Get rid of them. Cut their ass off. Okay? Goodbye. I love y'all. Deuces.